Is that like the third video in a row that we've got the same clothes on, Mike?
Yeah.
That's disgusting, man.
Slobs.
Yeah.
Gross.
It's almost like we filmed in the same day. On a serious note, one of our... On the back of a video that we made recently about gambling in video games, or the way that we see gambling in video games targeted at kids, one of our patrons has set up a change.org petition in the UK here for highlighting to the government, basically, if we get 10,000 signatures, then they address it. 100,000 signatures would be awesome because they have to discuss it then in Parliament. If you feel the same way as us, that it shouldn't be targeted towards kids and there should be some sort of restrictions on putting loot boxes in games when they're targeted at kids. There's a link in the description of this video to go to the change.org site to sign the petition, and we would really appreciate if you do that. Thanks very much to Connor from Patreon Discord who set this up.
Alright, so let's get on with a roundup. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is the latest game to be hit with a wave of negative reviews, or review bombing, after gamers in China finally got their hands on it. PUBG has been fully localized in China, but players have been complaining about lag in local servers. Chinese players were forced to join European and American servers, and they didn't like that. This led to European and American players experiencing lag from Chinese players trying to play on their servers. But fans have been outraged to discover that rather than provide dedicated servers for Chinese players or improving whatever's there already, they've actually just included in-game ads for a VPN service in China. That's right, Chinese players reported seeing ads for an accelerator VPN service within the actual main menu of the game.
So our game's shit. To improve it, why not click on this link and pay some more money? No thanks. I did what you did.
British playing,
yeah.
It's the ultimate shutdown, isn't it?
No.
Politely decline.
Thank you. That's right, Chinese players are being expected to pay for VPN, which dubiously promises to boost their connection to international servers. Unsurprisingly, this approach hasn't exactly gone down a treat among Chinese players, and for good reason. They feel that in-game advertising for a game that isn't free to play is a problem in itself. They also expected Bluehole to provide better support for Chinese servers, rather than promoting tools to help use foreign servers. In retaliation to these ads, Chinese players have turned to review bombing the Steam page for PUBG, with almost 30,000 recent negative reviews at the time of recording. Writing in a blog post, Battlegrounds development team acknowledged issues Chinese players are having and said the growth of the game has been faster than their development speed, but they're working on it. Working on it to try and make more money? Or maybe make money for a VPN, which they're maybe taking a cut of the profits from. I mean, I can't help but be cynical about this. Well, just stop it. Just fix the game. Make the game better. Stop asking people for money.
This is weird. This is pretty weird. I mean, I can't believe that the company they know that their players are struggling with connection, so that they kind of have put a third-party advert in there for a VPN service that, like, it says that you can have faster connection to servers or whatever, which sounds pretty shaky already. What the hell is going on here? I mean, it's terrible. The Chinese market is huge for so many games we don't even think of, games that we aren't even aware of. This would be a massive opportunity for them, and they're screwing it up so far.
PUBG is now breaking records on Steam for concurrent players. They've sold 13 million copies of the game, largely due to the uptake in players in China buying the game. And like Mike said, they could be irreparably damaging their own reputation in China now, and that can't be good for them.
And elsewhere in the news, Star Wars Battlefront 2 enters open beta this week, giving players early game time with EA's next big shooter, due out on November the 17th. The beta gives you access to Galactic Assault on Naboo, Strike Mode on Takodana, and Starfighter Assault above Fondor, as well as access to Arcade Mode. But believe it or not, that's not the only Star Wars Battlefront 2 that's got some big multiplayer news this week. That's right, multiplayer has returned to the classic 2005 original Star Wars Battlefront 2, which for some reason shares exactly the same name as the game that's coming out later this year.
Back in 2014, GameSpy, who hosted the multiplayer servers for the classic title, shut down, leading to disappointment among the diehards still playing the game. And of course, there were still people playing it, because, you know, it's a multiplayer shooter set in the Star Wars universe. While the Games Ranger servers helped keep the multiplayer community somewhat alive, it wasn't anything official. Since EA is far too busy with their brand new Battlefront franchise, it was unlikely that they were ever going to revive the servers for the originals. But here we are, and surprisingly, it was Disney who had the servers resurrected, releasing an update for them and even allowing crossplay between Steam and GOG.
There are two Star Wars Battlefront 2s now. Both have had some kind of multiplayer activated and available to play in the same week. Do you know what this is? This is because a couple of years ago it was pretty cool to, corporations love this idea of just having very simple simple titles that like rebooted franchises. So we had Star Wars Battlefront, we had Doom, even though there already is a game called Doom. You see what I'm saying?
Battlefield 1.
Oh my god. It's happening a lot. So this is kind of what happens next, is you get Star Wars Battlefront 2 again. And because it's like not got a colon in it or something, then it's Jesus Christ, what a mess. But this is pretty cool for people who are, you know, still wanted to play that old game, which had some modes and gameplay elements that just aren't in the newer versions. There's like the Galactic Conquest, which has got some kind of chessboard strategy element to it. Proper space battles where you could spawn in a hangar, get in a spaceship, fly to another spaceship, get out of your spaceship and destroy some shit, like, you know, in close quarters combat. That's really cool. That was in those old games. You can't play in the new game, so I could see why someone would want to play this. And it was also announced this week that free-to-play mech shooter Hawken will be closing down after almost 3 years of availability, but only on the PC. Hawken developer Reloaded Games put out a statement about the forthcoming closure, saying, quote, "After 3 great years, we are shutting down the PC Steam servers to refocus our development efforts. The PC game will officially be removed on January the 2nd, 2018, and all DLC and purchasable content will also be unavailable starting today." This news came after a year of complete silence from Reloaded Games, and Hawken had not been updated in about 2 years. However, the closure of Hawken shouldn't be too surprising, because the player count has rarely exceeded 500 concurrent players on Steam in the last 2 years. As far as we know, the PS4 and Xbox versions of Hawken will remain online for the time being, and it is currently unknown whether or not they will meet the same fate eventually. This game's been around a while. I mean, it was kind of in early access or something. I can't really remember, beta or whatever they called it back then. I don't know if early access was the term, but it was out in some form in 2012 on PC. It's been around a while, and it's really fun. If you enjoy the mech combat of Titanfall 2, this is just that basically, but it's kind of a bit quicker, and you know, there's a bit more focus on different like objectives and whatnot. And it's cool. It's a cool game, and it was totally free. So it's kind of sad that it's closing down. But if the player counts are that low, it's going to happen, isn't it?
Sony Interactive Entertainment's president, Andrew House, has stepped down effective immediately. House was appointed president and global CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment in 2011, where he oversaw the launch of both the PS4 console and a PSVR headset. In a statement, House expressed his desire to move on to new challenges, but he was thankful to Sony and all his colleagues for all the good times. Thanks for the good times.
It says that in the script, but I'm not 100% sure that that was actually something that he said or wrote. Something more boring than good times.
Goodbye and thanks for all the fish. House's position is being filled by Deputy President John Kodera, who was previously in charge of PlayStation's network division, and he will step up to the role in the beginning of 2018. House will remain on in the chairman's position in order to ensure a smooth transition for Kodera before he moves on to greener pastures.
We actually talked about this in this week's podcast, which is available for patrons. An interesting topic, because the guy who's had a huge influence on PlayStation is gone. Who was he, and what did he actually do? I mean, he's done a lot. I mean, the fact that there's no Sony handheld, for example, a lot of it's got to do with this guy. He doesn't think handhelds are any good. This is a very important bit of news, and although it's very boring to listen to, and you probably wouldn't click on an article on a gaming website, it will have a big effect on things in the future. I promise you.
Big news for Sony, because this guy has been the unsung hero for so long. He doesn't take the headlines like someone like Phil Spencer might on the Microsoft side, but this guy has done wonders since the launch of PS4 through to current day. You know, he's done great for Sony and PlayStation, so can Kodera fill his boots? We'll see.
And in other news, a thread on the Overwatch forums got some attention when game director Jeff Kaplan responded to criticism about the team's communication with their fans. Kaplan admitted that talking to gamers can be scary, and it often feels like developers can't win no matter what they say or do. Kaplan said while most of the Overwatch community is kind, there are some that scrutinise and intimidate them when the dev team don't implement things that they want to see. He also said if the community has genuine concerns about the state of the game, then they should express it in a calmer manner. Kaplan ends his post saying, "We love being a part of the community, and we don't ever want to view ourselves or be viewed as being separate or removed from that."
This is why everyone's talking about toxicity in gaming at the moment, because Kaplan is spearheading this thing with Overwatch. I think it's great that it's finally been shone a light on, because a lot of people are turned off from multiplayer games and such like because of the abuse that they might face when they get online on the service. So fair play to Kaplan. What I want to see is more publishers doing this and taking a leaf out of Kaplan's book, just shining a light on it and bringing an end to all this bullshit that people, like, harass people online.
I like the way he's kind of killing it with kindness as well. He's being really friendly and open all the time. He's just like, people are being like mean and whatever to him, and he's like opening his arms like, oh, come here. It's a really interesting approach, I think, and he's doing exactly the right thing.
In what was a pretty strange announcement this week, Ubisoft have asked players to submit their farts so they can be featured in the upcoming South Park The Fractured Butthole. In a new trailer, Ubisoft announced the I Am the Fart competition, which has players send in a video of themselves doing their best fart. Who videos themselves farting? Sorry,
A lot of people, I think.
Apparently.
I think a lot of people.
Apparently enough.
Like, where does the Lad Bible get its material if people don't film themselves farting?
Whoever wins the competition will have their fart incorporated into the game, and Ubisoft will fly them to San Francisco, and this is the best bit, where the development team will professionally record their flatulence for use in the game.
A lot of pressure, though.
There's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, because, you know, not every fart is created equal.
Hopefully it can be released in the right direction, you know?
Yeah, of course. And you might capture an incredible fart and send it into them, and you just don't need to fart like the next when they fly you over there.
Who can fart on demand? I don't know anyone who can fart on demand. And imagine being flown all the way to San Francisco and then being unable to fart.
Maybe it's like that's what the competition's for. It's to find those people who can fart on demand. It's like you want to get the best farters.
The fart will be used as one of the main characters' special attacks, and the competition runs from October the 2nd to October the 16th. So if you want your trouser cough to be immortalised in video game form, now's the time to do it. How far can they take that joke with the farting in South Park?
Isn't it?
But surely a fart can only be so funny. Like, how funny is it?
That's the whole existence of South Park, though. It's like answering the question, how far can you take this joke? Like, this is classic South Park to me. This is just like, it's just ridiculous. But it's
good because of it.
But it also makes total sense because it is South Park, and that is what they do for some reason. There you go, guys. Are you going to be submitting your best farts to Ubisoft? Maybe you're not even entering the competition. You're just doing it. Let us know down in the comments. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this every single day. There's another video right there, which you know you can watch right now, and a link to Patreon if you want to support the channel. See you next time.